We all know how important friendships are, like my good friend and I, Frank, that we have right there. But let's be honest, making friends and adults, well, it can be complicated. It can be awkward as well. So joining us now is human connection expert and author of Breaking Free, Stop Holding Back, and Start Being You, Shannon Talbot, joining us this morning to help us find and maintain friends as adults. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.
And this is a conversation that a lot of people, as we reset into a new year, are really getting into and wondering, okay, how do we approach this and why is connection so important as we get into 2025?
Yeah, so it's tricky. So right now we are in a bit of a loneliness crisis. So about 50% of Canadians feel sometimes lonely to always lonely, which has two major impacts on us. So one is loneliness is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day,
Whoa.
the impact on our health from loneliness. And strong, healthy relationships is the number one predictor of happiness in our lives. So friendships are really important for us.
They are very important, yeah. And when you really think about what it can do to a physical toll as well as the mental toll on somebody as well. First step towards connection, what would that be? What would you suggest?
So you have to put yourself out there. So I'll use myself for an example. I recently left Toronto, moved to, an hour and a half outside of Toronto. I know nobody there. My family, we don't know anybody. So we had to put ourselves out there. So I joined Facebook groups. I joined, groups for hiking. I joined a gym. I started actually just posting and asking people to hang out, to have coffee. Sometimes I get crickets back and it's really awkward, and sometimes it works out. So it's taking that first step.
You mentioned the awkward. So yeah, how do you, if you are, not everybody's an extrovert and has that kind of personality and feels comfortable approaching, but how do you go from, say, bumping into somebody at the gym to saying, hey, do you want to be friends? Like, can we do things outside of here? Because that can be an awkward conversation.
It's very awkward. And, a lot of us have a fear of rejection, and it's just, it's uncomfortable. But the thing to remember that that helps me is thinking it's probably awkward for the other person as well. And maybe they're sitting there waiting for you to make that first step. So it's, just strike up a conversation, ask a question, make a statement. Compliment them is an easy one too, and then get to know each other a little bit, and then you can go to, exchange phone numbers. It's a lot like dating. It's putting yourself out there and trying on different people to see who might be a good fit.
Yeah, it is. It's I think about some of the newer friendships I've made and where it comes from, and it can be playing sports, and it can be just, as you mentioned, hiking and bumping into people in that way.
Yeah.
It is a great way. Okay, and then the workplace. There's always that fine line of friendships, and do you just keep it as professional or do you move into that friendship zone? How do you navigate that?
Yeah, so studies show that we are happier at work if we do have some close relationships there. So again, it's very similar to dating. It's similar to making friends outside of work. It's asking someone to go for a coffee, asking to learn more about what they do, finding someone with a common interest, and making that first step.
And this book that you have here, Break Free, tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I wrote this book about a year ago, and it is about how we can get out of our own way, how we can call out our BS, our excuses, our fears, and really go after more of what we want in our lives.
How do we fully call ourselves out and hold ourselves accountable when you say, call out the BS side of things? How do you approach that?
So you have to be really honest with yourself. Someone else could tell it to you, but you're not going to listen.
Right.
Like my husband tells me what I need to call out. I'm not going to do it. But it's just about having that awareness and realizing what is actually getting in your way from what you want. If it's making new friends, is it your nervousness or that fear of rejection? Identifying that and then working to overcome it.
Yeah, and you said, getting out there and really putting yourself out there, I think is a very scary thing for a lot of people. And you mentioned some ideas there, but really what would you suggest that very first step for somebody that's watching right now saying, hey, I want to make some friends. I want to get that connection. What should I do?
Sometimes the easiest way is to join an online community. Sometimes it's easier to post online or send a message to someone that's not face-to-face. That can feel scarier. So do that. Join those groups, start posting, start messaging, build the connection there, and then take it up a step. Ask that person for a walk or coffee or a drink or whatever that looks like.
Start with the non-face-to-face, then get to the face-to-face. Shannon, where can we get more information about you online?
So you can go to my website at shannontalbot.com or follow me at It's Shannon Talbot.
Well, thank you, new friend.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming by.